Welcome back, YouTube. It is Saiko, and today we are here back with another video in our 30 teams and 30 day series. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Brooklyn Nets. So this offseason was actually way more eventful than I thought for the Nets. They traded away DeAndre Jordan for Sekou Doumbouya and Jahlil Okafor, who both of which aren't on the team. Actually, Sekou and DeAndre Jordan are both on the Lakers right now, and Jahlil is just kind of sitting in free agency at the moment. But this team did have a pretty solid amount of free agent signings. They got DeAndre Bembry and Devontae Cacok. Yup. Pretty eventful, huh? Who am I kidding? This team literally stacked veteran talent all over the place. They signed Patty Mills, James Johnson, Paul Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge came back after his heart stuff pretty much got better. And they were able to re-sign Bruce Brown and Blake Griffin, which both of those dudes were really important pieces to the team last year. Also, KD apparently signed an extension. Harden is supposed to be next, and well, Kyrie is a little that's a little iffy right now, or at least pretty much a no-go. They also traded away Landry Shamet to the Suns for Javon Carter. I didn't think that this team was gonna get much better, but I mean, even though that a lot of the guys that they signed are more veterans, they're not as old as the Lakers. I think they might be a little younger, but I mean, I think the veterans that they got in the roles that they're going to be in are just going to be really, really good. And as for this team's starting lineup, I feel like that's probably the most difficult thing to really even talk about, just because of the whole Kyrie Irving situation that's been happening recently. But if I had to give you a lineup without the Kyrie Irving controversy, I would say that James Harden would be at the 1 because apparently him and Kyrie have switched. Kyrie would be at the 2. Joe Harris would run the 3. KD is going to be at the 4, and they'll probably have LaMarcus Aldridge or Blake Griffin starting at the 5. Now, if we were to talk about the big controversy with Kyrie, then I believe that Bruce Brown would actually be taking the spot of Kyrie in the starting lineup. And pretty much off the bench, I see guys like Patty Mills, Bruce Brown, or Javon Carter, depending. Cam Thomas, Paul Millsap, and Blake Griffin or LaMarcus Aldridge are pretty much the guys that are going to get a majority of the backup minutes. But that doesn't even include the fact that they have guys like DeAndre Bembry, James Johnson, Nicholas Claxton. Bro, this team is a little unfair if you ask me. Kyrie. I honestly don't really know where I stand with you at the moment. At one point, when you hit the shot in the 2016 finals, you were probably my favorite player in the NBA at that point. Kobe had just retired, and I didn't really think that anyone was going to be able to fill the void of like an active NBA player that I was a big fan of. But I mean, you came through and hit that shot, and just like the way that you play, I just love everything about it, man. But as the years went by, all this flat earth shit and the whole like, if you guys want me back in Boston, I'll resign to are you going to resign here? I don't know. And like now the whole like, vaccine stuff is just starting to kick in, and it's just so like, man, it's just so confusing to talk about you, man. I definitely agree with the whole vaccine thing that he says about like speaking up, being a voice for a lot of the people out there, but it's just like, bro, I just want to see you play, man. Come on. You may not be my favorite player anymore, but I guarantee you still are a favorite player of mine, that's for sure. And if you do get to play, if you stay healthy throughout the entire season, then I mean, you're gonna be an all-star. You'll be just he's just gonna ball out, dude. Like, there's so much I could say about Kyrie, but like, I just don't want to say it just for the sake of having this video just kind of be longer than what it should be. And we all know what to expect out of you if you do come in and play healthy and just like, just ball out like you usually do. We all know what to expect from you, dude. James Harden along with Kyrie, the two of them are pretty much the most skilled players in the NBA at the moment. I think with the foul baiting kind of changing, or at least the foul baiting rules pretty much changing in the league, I think it might be a little harder for him to get a lot of the free throw attempts like he does, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to find a way around it, because I mean, it's James Harden. He's literally like a top 5 shooting guard at this point. And I'm not talking about this year, I'm talking about of all time. Well, I guess he is the point guard of this team, but I still consider him a shooting guard in my eyes. I pretty much expect the dude to drop around 20 to 25 points a night and pretty much spend his post game in the clubs like he usually does. Joe Harris is a sharpshooter, and he's probably one of the best in the league at the moment. I know that he played like absolute dog water in the playoffs this year, but I don't expect him to play like that in the regular season. I'm pretty sure that he'll be fine. Just shoot the ball, Joe. Just shoot the ball. Kevin Durant is probably the greatest scorer I have ever seen in my entire life. Not counting Kobe, of course. And I feel like he's been the best scorer in the league for at least the past few years as well. I know in the last video, I pretty much said that MPJ was kind of like this 3-level scorer, this KD type beat player. But let's be real. KD is so much more than that. And I think it's kind of insulting that I said that. So my apologies, KD. The dude is a legitimate scoring machine. At the rim, at the mid-range, at the 3-point line, at the free throw line, blindfolded. This man will just score anything from anywhere. If Luka doesn't win MVP this year, I guarantee you that KD probably will, especially with this current situation in Brooklyn. I just feel like he might be poised to have an MVP type season, even next to Harden. I just want him to be healthy because, I mean, last year he only played like, what, 30 games just because of a hamstring injury. I just hope that he stays healthy because if he does, he's going to be an MVP. That's definitely a fact. And also, speaking of KD, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button and also hitting subscribe if you like the content that you've seen, please go ahead and do that. Don't forget to also hit the bell for notifications because, you know, it notifies you of a new video of mine. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you guys could actually do those things for me, I would really appreciate it. And I'm pretty sure that KD would too. Who am I kidding? KD is probably out there doing something with a basketball or trying to convince Kyrie of, like, you know, the situation. LaMarcus Aldridge is coming back from his irregular heartbeat because he did call it a career, but apparently, like, he got all of that situated, apparently. Look, I'm no doctor, but, like, if you think that you're healthy enough to play and if you feel confident enough that this stuff isn't going to come back, then by all means, LaMarcus, play your heart out. No pun intended. I'm hoping that LaMarcus can pretty much provide some pretty good defense. From the 5-game sample size that we got from him when he played in Brooklyn last year, I'd say that, like, you know, he could probably do it. If he doesn't end up starting, I can see Blake Griffin actually being the guy who starts instead of him because that's what he was doing in the playoffs anyways. Patty Mills is a great 6-man to have coming off the bench. Ever since Manu left the Spurs, I feel like it's pretty much been the position that he's kind of been regulated to, or like that he kind of finds normal to play. If FIBA/Olympic Patty Mills comes to play, then the league is definitely in trouble because that man will literally scorch the net. He's got an absolute torch on him, that's for certain. Bruce Brown was a guy that I saw play on the Pistons, but I honestly didn't really think much of him until he got to Brooklyn. When he got to Brooklyn, I feel like he was really able to show like how great defensively he was, or at least, like, you know, to the bigger markets, because obviously no one was really watching Detroit at that point. He's just going to be a solid defensive option. He can shoot the 3, but I wouldn't rely on him to, just because I don't know, he's just been inconsistent shooting the 3. If his 3-point shot won't be there, I know the defense will be for sure. Javon Carter is also going to be this sort of like 3-and-D type player that they have coming off the bench. Shout out to Pee Wee the Plug's cousin, a really underrated player too. Cam Thomas is the Nets rookie this year, and I'm not going to lie to you, looking at him, he looked great in the preseason. So I think with the right amount of opportunity, the kid can really show what he's got, especially because of the fact that there might be a chance that Kyrie doesn't play. Paul Millsap is actually an amazing veteran to have on this team. The guy's been a former all-star. He plays really good defense. I know that at one point he was all defense second team or something like that. I think he's just going to come in, shoot 3s, and play defense. I know that last year his role kind of diminished on the Nuggets, and I think him being in Brooklyn, it's going to diminish even more, but I don't think that he's going to have a problem with that. I think he wants to win a ring, and honestly, this team is probably his best bet at doing that. Blake Griffin, after he left the Pistons last year and went to Brooklyn, literally showed that he still has some gas in the tank. Ever since he changed his game a few years ago, he's just become a much more well-rounded player, and I really like that about him. I think this year we can just pretty much expect him to play make, get dunks, shoot 3s, and just, you know, just kind of be a solid all-around offensive player. He might get blocks here and there too. Out of DeAndre Bembry, James Johnson, and Nicholas Claxton, I feel like Nicholas Claxton has the opportunity to get the most minutes out of these guys. He got to play around 30 games last year, and in the sample size, he looked pretty decent. I feel like if he were to, you know, not be in health and safety protocols or get sick and actually like play pretty much a majority of the season, we're gonna really see how good of a player that he can be. I mean, I think he'll be a defensive beast. He's pretty much gonna be what DeAndre Jordan should have been for this team, I feel like. And I'm only saying that just because DeAndre Jordan is a lot older, and I feel like he didn't really do anything on the Nets, or at least he didn't look great on the Nets. And if this team needs a tough guy to play, James Johnson is your dude. He literally has a black belt. I would not want to mess with a guy like that. As for this team's record, I was expecting them to be number 1 in the East, but I mean, with all of this like Kyrie stuff coming out and him probably not being able to play just because of, you know, his beliefs and stuff like that, which, I mean, I don't want to talk about that, like I said earlier. I think that this team might fall to the 2nd or 3rd seed just because of the fact that they don't have him, or potentially won't have him. Like I said, there's a lot going on with this team, and as much as I want to talk about it, I'd rather not talk about it. I feel like I could make another video if you guys kind of want me to and kind of upload that, but I don't really know. If more news comes out by the time that my 30 teams in 30 day series pretty much finishes, then I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make that video. But I mean, other than that, I'd rather not talk about it really, or at least go in depth about it. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this team can still make the 1st seed without Kyrie, or do you think they'll hang around the 2nd or 3rd seed just because of the fact that they won't have him? That's pretty much the big question that I really want to ask for you guys, or at least I would like you guys to answer in the comment section down below if you would like to. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe for more content. My name is Saiko, and I hope to see you guys in the next video, like always, which is going to be my 30 teams in 30 days on yet another team with kind of a big story, the Philadelphia 76ers. Bye, guys.